Okay, so when we are looking at a good characteristic of hypothesis, so in that case, what will be, it should be? It should have an conceptual clarity. Means it should be clear enough what you have to find out. It should have an meaning of it. It should have an implication. It should have a declarative statement. Next characteristic is it should be empirical. Means it should have a moral judgment, but it should have some value. We cannot rely on an unusable moral judgment. If I am saying that emotionally I am attached with you, I will give you good marks. It's not worthy. I have to justify with some values. I have to justify from the attempt of your question paper, how you have given your performance in the examinations. So it should be empirical reference. It should have some kind of objectivity. So whatever things we are having, it should have some kind of value judgment. It should have a effective guidance towards it. So it can be gone through the objectivity. Then it should be specificity. It should be like having a particular like for example, you are having a regular yoga which will be reducing the stress. So there is a specificity of an independent variable on dependent variable, that stress is being affected by the yoga. So yoga is an independent. If I'm not practicing, the stress might not reduce. What we said. So it is a specificity. So good hypothesis should be very specific and it should not be general. Okay, and it should explain the expected relationship between the two variables. So it is explaining independent and dependent. So hypothesis having some kind of relationship between the two variables. Next, it should be relevant enough. We said that it should be worthy enough to work on. Okay, if it is of no use, I'm working on like leprosy, I'm trying to find out any kind of intervention previously what we talked, so it is not worthy to work on that. So it should be worthy enough to the problem which is being studied, and objectivity should be there. It should be relevance with the theory, that yes, environmental theory can also affect, or other theory may also kind keep an evidence to be affecting our studies. Then it should be testable. We had seen that hypothesis is always having a kind of test, not moral judgment. I said in the previous thing that it cannot be morally I am judging you. Yeah, the attitude of this candidate is very good, so might be knowledge will be also fabulous. It should differ. It might differ. Okay, so next is consistency. Yesterday we talked about something, it will be consistent, findings will be consistent. The blood pressure instrument is what? Sphygmomanometer. If it is measuring your blood pressure over my office is it's 120 by 80, then it will keep the same in the laboratory or in the class which you are studying. If you sit in your class, it is not that it will vary, their findings will vary. It is keeping a consistency of that result. So that is what another characteristic. Simplicity will be there. Definitely it is terms is having an understandable meaning. We should understand that I am studying on a ventilatory associated pneumonia, and from chlorhexidine I will try to relieve the infection. So I am having a very clear terminology that infection of ventilatory associated pneumonia can be cured with the chlorhexidine mouthwash. Next is availability of techniques. We should have that availability. Yes, if I want to reduce the chlorhexidine through the chlorhexidine mouthwash, what should be the measure that I can find out that stress, I'm sorry, not stress, that infection has reduced. For example, I wanted to assess for the practice of the CPR, then I have a checklist. That means I can make a checklist because first practice is this, second practice is this, third practice is you are giving C, A, B is the sequence. You are following that means I have a checklist. Yes, first step done, second step done, third step done. So that is what it should have a technique. So you should be able to make a tool out of your statement. Then purposiveness. I should have some purpose. If I'm finding out that I have to assess the knowledge of particular person, so in that case, I should have a purpose. Why I have to find out the knowledge about that? Because the students are having good knowledge with the ABC one, but they are not advanced with their findings. They have not learned the CAB treatment. They have only learned the ABC one. So I have to advance. So I have a purpose to advance their knowledge with the upgraded protocol of CPR. Next is verifiability. Yes, everything should have a verification. Practically terms has to be verified. If you are not able to verify the things, the findings are proper or not, is there any solution for this or not, then it is not worthy. And lastly, economical. You are struggling for the patient to reduce with the ventilatory associated pneumonia. So in that case, you should have a economical balance, and it should be worthy to your pocket also. Because sometimes you might get, according to your intervention or experiment, the ethical committees or the research committees may give you funding. But sometimes it is when you are doing your master study or bachelor study, you might not get the funding. So it should be affordable to your pocket. Okay. So another things we had seen the sources from where we were getting, that is from the conceptual framework, theoretical framework we are getting, then from the academic literatures, then any kind of other previous studies or research findings we can see from our real life experiences. Okay, I'm knowing that yes, telephones or cells have disturbed our life, imbalanced our life. On the same time, it has also like to make our life very smooth because we can communicate easily. So these are what real life experiences. So I might study on that. But although if I am not having any kind of experience, what it is, if I am made to study about the engineering department and I am not aware about E also, so in that case, it is not worthy to study on that. Now let's jump to the types of hypothesis. So here are different kind of, here also it has been mentioned, but I will just go with the R.K. Sharma book. So what is first one is simple and complex hypothesis. Let's study simple hypothesis. You can write it down in your notebooks. You can note it down that it is a statement that is reflecting the relationship between two variables. Which are the two variables? Independent and dependent. So for example, the lower level of hemoglobin, the higher risk of infection. So infection is getting triggered because hemoglobin level is low. How can I increase? Increase by some kind of food supplements or any kind of iron supplements. I can increase the hemoglobin. So that is independent variable. It is having a relationship, definitely. That independent relationship is having with the dependent variable. Okay, next is complex hypothesis. In this, what will it reflect? The relationship between more than two variables, not only one. So if I am just taking an example that satisfaction is higher among the patients who are older and dwelling in the rural area than those who are younger and dwelling in the urban area. So satisfaction of both of them I am finding, but they are younger and older generations. And if one is living in the rural area and other one is living in the urban area, so rural area might have different and urban area might have different. So there the variables are changing. So only single variable is not there, what it was in previous one. There can be more than two variables also. Next is, let's see, descriptive hypothesis. These are the assumptions that will describe the characteristics such as size, form or distribution of the variable, and the variables may be an object, person, organization, situation or event. Okay, let's take an example. Public enterprise are more amenable for the centralized planning. So it is given an example in descriptive hypothesis are assumptions which will describe the characteristic size and size of the variable, like whatever the attributes of the variables, and these will be might be an objective, that can be a person, it can be organization. Here they have studied about the public enterprise, and it is more amendable for what? It is amendable for centralized planning. So this is what about the descriptive hypothesis. Relational hypothesis. The term is suggesting explanatory hypothesis, which is also termed as explanatory hypothesis. These are the assumptions that is describing the relationship between the two variables, what we have studied. It can be simple, it can be complex. This will suggest about the positive and negative. What is positive and negative? Just take an example, like it may be affecting, it may not be affecting. I will give an example. Like the child is saying that dad, ice cream is not triggering fever. But dad is saying, yes, ice cream is triggering fever. You are getting fever because you have consumed ice cream. So that is what is positive. But he said that no, it is not affecting. It is lessening my temperature. So that is what negative or causal relationship. It is having another example. Let's take Families with higher income spend more for recreation. So they are keeping an like a relationship with that if having the high income, they will expend more on the recreational activities. Let's take a causal hypothesis states that the existence of change in one variable cause lead to effect on another. If I am variating that, yes, I am taking a lot of ice cubes or a lot of chill things in my diet, it will trigger my sore throat. So first variable which is called as independent. So I have triggered the cold things, cold consumption, cold substance consumption in my diet. So it will increase the like source or the dependent variable is increasing. So it is keeping a causal. Null hypothesis. Null means what? We can state it as negative. I said that the child said that dad, I'm not getting the higher fever grade. Fever is not increasing because of ice cream. So he is disapproving the statement given by his dad. So that is having no difference, no relationship. Means ice cream and that fever is not having any kind of relationship. But that was proved by whom? That was being judged by the child. But it has not hence proved. To prove it, we have to go for experiment. So null hypothesis is stating no difference exists between the parameters and statistics being compared, or no relationship between the variables being compared. So very clear thing, we should have a negative relationship between the two. So it is being stated that at H0 or HO. Okay, if you are taking a null hypothesis, then it is keeping H0. Another thing is example they have taken, there is no relationship between family's income and expenditure. So they are stating, above they stated that yes, if the family is having high income, they will spend. But here in null hypothesis, they are stating what? No income is like affecting on the expenditures. So we can just exemplify that person who is very greedy or who, they do not want to expand on their even basic needs. So it is not keeping like even though they are rich, they are not expanding. So it is having null hypothesis. Okay. Next is alternate hypothesis. What is that? H1. We are trying to prove that there is a relationship between the two things. So in this hypothesis that describes researchers' prediction that father has judged that yes, ice cream is triggering my child's temperature. So there is an existence of the relationship between the two variables, and it is opposite of the null hypothesis. So keep it in mind, alternative hypothesis and null hypothesis is having a reverse type of things. So null hypothesis was proving no relation, but here he is proving that there is a relationship between the two things. Here they have taken another example, H1 or HA. There is a definite relationship between income and expenditure on the recreation. So the family who is earning a lot is even doing lot of expenditure in their daily life. Okay, now are the forms of relationship. You can study this from your this R.K. Sharma, and there is a directional and non-directional hypothesis. Let us understand what is directional hypothesis. What is stating? Directional means it is not specify only the existence, but it is also expected that directional relationships are there between the variables. Directional hypothesis states the nature of relationship. Okay, between the two or more variables, it can be positive, it can be negative, or it may keep no relationship. And to express the direction of relationship between the variables, the directional term are used to state the hypothesis, such as positive, negative, less, more, increase, decrease, higher or lower. For example, I'm taking an example that we are teaching you. Our teaching is keeping an impact on a good result of you. So it is a positive, but somewhere it might be that somewhere you will have a lack of result due to an online teaching. So online teaching is not going worthy with you and it is deteriorating your knowledge. So that is again negative. Then like a laboratory or like hospital exposure is making you more advanced in your studies. So that is more, increase the thing. So it is having an like a relationship with the increase, lessening. It is a negative, it is a positive. So just take an example. There is a positive relation between the years of nursing experience and job satisfaction among the nurses. So the person who is at like higher post is getting lot of benefits. They are getting leave. They are saving the patients more. Experience is making them so perfect that they can get lots of benefits, and their performance scale are also higher. So there is a like keeping a relationship between the two. In non-directional hypothesis, it is the relationship between the two or more variables, but not specify that anticipate the direction, that might not keep any direction. So the nature of relationships such as positive or negative might be affected. It will indicate that existence of relationship between the variables. For example, there is a relationship between the years of nursing experience and the job satisfaction among the nurses. So this is keeping a finalizing that there is particularly that between the two or more variables there is a relationship, but it is not assured that there is specified or anticipated direction or nature of relationship can be go ahead. For example, here I have taken that years of experience is keeping a worthy support to that nursing practice, but it can be because of something you have advanced in another training also. So even though if I am 1 year experience, I have kept an experience of or I have undergone some kind of training, that it will be worthy enough. Then lastly, which we had seen was null hypothesis, and lastly research hypothesis. What is research hypothesis? Just to see, I'm sorry. Yeah, research hypothesis is something you can also known as the alternative hypothesis. That was H1, which we have seen. This is also termed as research hypothesis. So it is what it is stating the existence of relationship between the two. So I had given you the example that the two things are keeping relationship. Take another example. If there is a relationship between the smoking and incidence of lung cancer, yes, it is keeping a evidence that yes, smoking is injurious to lungs and it is leading to lung cancer. It has been proved in various studies. So the research hypothesis could be simple, could be directional, could be non-directional, could be associative or causal. Okay, just like revise it. Types of hypothesis, it can be simple or complex, which will reflect the relationship between the variables. For example, like level of hemoglobin I had given you, and it is lower, then the risk of infection has increased. In complex hypothesis, relation between the two or more than two variables can be there. I had given an example that it can be the people who are having the satisfaction is higher among the patients who are older and dwelling in the rural area, and the person who are younger dwelling in the urban area. So it may be having two or more than two variables. In associative, just understand associative and causal hypothesis is what? Associative hypothesis which is reflecting the relationship between two variables, which will occur only in the natural setting. Yesterday we had seen an example that in natural setting we have to just see the sleep disturbance among the patient. I am not manipulating it. I am not giving the sleeping pills to the patient. So in that case, associative hypothesis is completely observed in the natural setting, and then we are finding out the correlational research studies. Okay, so it can be stated like, you can take another example, that communication skills of the healthcare provider and the cost care are related to the satisfaction of the patient. Okay, but in case of predicting the hypothesis, this predicts that the relationship among the variables, but not the type of relationship. In case the more communication from the healthcare provider, higher is the satisfaction among the patients. For example, if you are going on giving the treatment to the patient, but IPR is not managed, patient will be frightened of you that what kind of treatment you are giving. So that will not keep that relationship, but you are managing the hypothesis, you are managing that satisfaction among the patients. So that will be communication will definitely improve his health. In causal hypothesis, what's happening? It predicts the cause and effect relationship. Once things has cause, it will keep an effect and relationship between the two or more dependent and independent variables in the experimental and interventional settings, where independent variable is manipulated. Okay, wherever independent variable comes, it has been manipulated by the researcher to examine what? To examine the effect. So example was, I had given just chlorhexidine mouthwash to one patient, and other patient I'm just giving the simple water to gargle or to clean up. So in that case, I have to just see, I have manipulated two things. So you have to examine the effect of chlorhexidine and like simple saline, both of this. The causal hypothesis reflect the measurement of the dependent variables to be examined. So definitely I will see the improvement or the prognosis of the patient's condition. So I am finding out something. I am examining the effect of independent variable on the dependent variable, which was being manipulated. Just take another example. Prevalence of pin site infection is lower in the patient who received pin site care with the hydrogen peroxide. Okay, as compared to the patient who is receiving the care with the povidone iodine. So I am comparing the effectiveness of povidone iodine solution and hydrogen peroxide. So if the patient is getting a small site infection, so who is getting more cured faster? So I am just comparing both of these two. In directional, what we were studying, in directional we were just having a look forward the existence, also the expected direction of the relation between the two variables. Example was been taken. Positive relationship might be there, it might enhance the effectiveness, it might also have some kind of relationship. Example was taking like nursing experience and job satisfaction is having a relationship, more of experience, more of job satisfaction. But in non-directional hypothesis, it is reflecting the relationship, but it is not been anticipated the direction. Okay, so it can be such as like positive or negative, can be the nature, it has not been predicted. Okay, and lastly, like null hypothesis, we had already seen zero. If I'm trying to prove that the ice cream is having, the father is trying to prove that the ice cream is having effectivity on the patient's, my son's temperature, in that case, he's trying to prove that ice cream is triggering his temperature. But the child is saying that no, ice cream is not having any kind of output with that temperature. So I'm not having the temperature because of that. So he is trying to disapprove that. So the statement, if it is proved that it was because of that ice cream, then in that case, it was an alternative hypothesis. You can also say that it is a research hypothesis H1 that was being proved that ice cream was only increasing the temperature. So father's statement was being proved that was, it has, so automatically that the other statement that child has kept was disapproved, that was rejected. So if in case it is opposite, vice versa, if the statement proves that yes, I have an evidence, I have an result that ice cream is not keeping any kind of relationship with the temperature, it is not increasing the temperature. So in that case, null hypothesis is proved. In that case, automatically the previous is getting disapproved. So I hope that is clear with you with the hypothesis. Well, while formulating an hypothesis, what you have to keep in mind, first of all, you are just watching for, you are going for a quantitative research study which has to be investigated, and it is playing a role with the dependent and independent variables. So whenever you are going for an experimental or correlational research studies, you have to keep those two things in mind. While in other studies, like it is a qualitative hypothesis is inappropriate. You cannot predict out something, you cannot find out in a value form. So there is no single way to develop an excellent hypothesis. And hypotheses are always written before starting the study. And because we have to state an objective, we have to formulate an hypothesis that I want to prove this, and it cannot be changed after the study results are examined. I have proved that my hypothesis is cleared. My students' knowledge is greater than 70%. They are 70% are having good knowledge. So my research hypothesis H1 has already proved. So the other prediction I had kept, null hypothesis, might be some 70% are poor, but my first H1 was being proved. So I cannot manipulate now. I cannot change my hypothesis once the result has occurred. Researcher uses null hypothesis form as well as alternative hypothesis form. The following are the components we can keep in mind. What are the components that while forming a hypothesis, dependent and independent variables you have to keep in mind. For example, I am studying for online teaching have proved students' knowledge more. enhance the student's knowledge. So dependent is what? Student's knowledge. Independent is online teaching. Nature of relationships, dependent and independent variable you have to keep. What kind of nature it is? Causal effective or what? Subject and population being studied. You have to find out the population on which you are studying. So you have to keep a very clear cut idea on what population, on what subject you want to give the evidence. Then lastly, level of significance for accepting or rejecting the null hypothesis. I already said that you should find out the significance. Okay, if I am trying to prove that ice cream is triggering the temperature, so I am having a significance of it. I am having a numerical value that at this level, my hypothesis has proved. 100% cannot be proved, but at least because our tool can have some kind of errors in that, so 0.5 cannot be proved. So in that case, you will just try to prove at least 95% or 99% evidence can be proved, or it can be said that approximity is there. It cannot be 100% proof, but it is having a significance, means it is having a relationship that ice cream is triggering the temperature of a child. Okay, so I am proving it, and in that case, if it is being proved, my null hypothesis will be automatically rejected. So while writing down your result, you will just justify it. Right? That the declarative sentence has to be into the present tense. That is, example is, if the critically ill patient received continuous nasogastric feeding, experiences fewer gastrointestinal problems as compared to the patient who is receiving the bolus nasogastric feeding. So we are giving here what? We are giving the fewer GI feeding, but in that case, there is very less of chances of feeding problems. So in that case, you are keeping a declarative statement, but it should be in the present tense only. It shouldn't be past, it shouldn't be future. You want to evidence it in the present itself. So this is what about the hypothesis is.